How tiny are the chances that two projectiles launched from separate star systems would strike one single fruit at the precise same moment? Based on recent advanced calculations from the Space Research Center, the probability of two cosmic wanderers sharing a matching path through our planetary neighborhood falls below 1 in 500 quintillion. That is not luck. That is intention. Something remarkable just occurred in our planetary region that has the far space observation teams at the agency in a condition of total panicked chaos. As humanity stayed fixed on the strange arrival of 3 Atlas heading toward our world, our strongest observation equipment spotted something completely different. A companion craft trailing the identical route, gliding in flawless alignment after the lead vessel. This is not cosmic junk. This is synchronization on a magnitude that contradicts all our assumptions about wandering cosmic bodies and the minds controlling them. What you are going to learn will destroy any lingering uncertainty about what we truly face. Because if a single manufactured craft was disturbing, what does it suggest when they cruise in pairs? If this discovery grabs your interest, please click that approval icon and follow along, because this account just grew vastly more complicated and possibly more threatening than anybody predicted. Imagine the Far Space Communication Hub at the agency around 3:47 in the morning, Eastern Hour, graveyard crew. Scientists were watching 3 Atlas using standard observation methods when something unbelievable showed on their displays. A companion heat reading approximately matching 3 Atlas in dimensions was trailing exactly 2.3 million miles after the lead craft. It was copying its flight path with geometric accuracy that organic bodies simply cannot manage. Dr. Michael Rodriguez, the senior observation expert, portrayed the instance as resembling a caravan on the road. Exact intervals, matching velocity, synchronized motion, organic bodies do not act this manner. Let us stop here to grasp the space science behind why this is so startling. In the emptiness of the void, bodies are perpetually affected by gravitational tugs from worlds, suns, and even stellar particles. This is called in orbital science the multi-body challenge. Lacking active adjustment, two bodies separated by enormous distances would separate because of the varying gravitational forces they encounter. For 3 Atlas and its partner to remain matched within several kilometers indicates they hold constant thrust mechanisms, performing tiny corrections every single instant. This demands a degree of power efficiency and steering that our science cannot presently clarify. The fresh body labeled 30 Atlas B by the Crisis Naming Protocol showed the matching unnatural features as its forerunner: structured heat patterns, artificial hull compounds, and functioning radio broadcasts. But this additional arrival sparked concerns that rendered the initial encounter situations appear straightforward. If these bodies were manufactured scouts, why existed 2 of them? If they stood for survey expeditions, what variety of society dispatches numerous scouting units? And most troubling above all, if 2 existed, what quantity beyond lurked out there? What the agency uncovered regarding the connection linking these 2 bodies contradicted every law of orbital physics. Study of their shared positioning revealed synchronization precise to several kilometers, unachievable lacking active steering mechanisms. A flight path expert who sought privacy clarified that this resembles discovering 2 shots launched from separate weapons reaching the matching destination together. The paired cruising showed something vastly more complex than solo scouts functioning separately. This stood as proof of unified thinking, directing numerous resources with instant accuracy spanning interstellar gaps. As scientists fought to comprehend the paired cruising, antenna arrays caught something considerably more frightening. The 2 bodies were conversing with one another. The 500-meter dish radio receiver in China captured synchronized messages linking 3 Atlas and 3 Atlas B. These were not arbitrary electromagnetic pulses, but organized information transfers happening at exact intervals. The exchanges followed systems that implied instant synchronization, linking the 2 machine minds. When one body modified its flight, the companion answered with matching movements. When broadcast bands shifted from stellar disruption, both bodies adapted together. Dr. Elena Vasquez, heading the study group, stated it bluntly. We are not merely watching two separate scouts. We are viewing a connected thinking network functioning spanning enormous distances of void with synchronization that surpasses our finest military broadcasts. The broadcast study exposed something additionally troubling. The information transfers were not solely linking the two observable bodies. Transmission sequences existed that implied they conversed with extra sources past the limits of our present sensing abilities. What quantity of additional bodies existed out there hidden from our equipment, yet joining in this universal web? This leads us to an idea in computing called shared processing or collective thinking. Rather than depending on one main processor, extremely advanced networks spread the work across numerous components. This indicates that 3 Atlas and 3 Atlas B might not represent distinct beings in the manner we perceive them, but instead 2 points of one enormous galactic awareness. This renders the network extremely durable because eliminating one component does not halt the objective. The thinking merely redirects through the surviving points. As both bodies proceeded their journey toward the orbital region of our world, their action sequences grew progressively evident and progressively worrying. 3 Atlas and 3 Atlas B were not merely traveling toward our planet. They were performing organized surveillance of our planetary region. Their flight changes followed observation sequences that systematically examined our world's rock belt and orbital structures. The bodies synchronized their watching to remove hidden angles. When one scout concentrated on Mars, the companion studied the satellites of Jupiter. When 3 Atlas surveyed the orbital area of our world, 3 Atlas B investigated our far space watching facilities. This was not aimless wandering. This was systematic data collection performed by machine minds capable enough to separate survey duties across numerous vessels. Studies showed that the observation sequences were refined for peak data gathering while reducing visibility to sensing networks based on our world. If hobbyist stargazers had not accidentally noticed the companion body, it could have finished its complete survey operation lacking formal recognition. The finding of a companion machine mind triggered an instant and unmatched reaction from leadership bodies globally. Inside hours of verification, the military activated Level 3 readiness for void-based dangers, a status tier unused since the Cuba standoff era. The security leadership gathered crisis meetings including military commanders, spy chiefs, and research consultants. Global partnership achieved heights never witnessed previously. Partner nations started exchanging far space watching information using channels saved for atomic conflict situations. Historic opponents like America and China created direct talk systems for coordinating answers to the nearing bodies. The Void Force activated all obtainable watching resources. Combat satellites were shifted for non-stop observation of both bodies. Far space tracking posts, typically employed for rocket defense, were adjusted for cosmic body watching. The statement was obvious. Global leaders currently grasped they were not handling separated initial contact. This was potentially the forward surveillance for something considerably bigger. Secret intelligence sessions, sections of which have subsequently emerged, disclosed the actual extent of what leaderships currently thought they confronted. The synchronization linking 3 Atlas and 3 Atlas B showed technical abilities that surpassed human progress by perhaps hundreds of years. The capacity to hold alignment across stellar distances demanded thrust mechanisms, guidance processors, and broadcast webs vastly past our present knowledge, but the meanings stretch much past superior machinery. The organized survey sequence implied these craft were collecting data for some grander objective. Why would a superior society require thorough details regarding human abilities unless they were arranging some variety of engagement or action? Security experts recognized multiple plausible situations, none of them reassuring. Optimal outcome, the craft stood for harmless surveying by a society arranging helpful engagement. Darkest outcome, they were forward scouts for conquest or material harvesting missions. Most troubling above everything, the web messaging implied these two observable craft could be merely the start. If a superior society was performing organized surveying of our planetary region, What quantity of additional scouts already existed here, hidden from our sensing equipment? The finding of 3 Atlas B started the most thorough far space examination in human existence. All principal observatories on our world were assigned to scan the planetary region for extra manufactured craft. Void agencies merged their observation information to build unmatched watching coverage. Hobbyist stargazers globally were enlisted to watch particular zones of the void. Inside weeks, the hunt produced troubling findings. The Hubble Void Viewer spotted unusual heat readings in the distant planetary region that corresponded to the patterns of the confirmed craft. The Kepler Void Watcher recognized recurring fading of distant suns, matching manufactured craft crossing before them. Most troubling above everything, sequence study of the radio pulses implied the existence of extra sources past the 2 verified craft. The web messaging showed no fewer than 4, perhaps 6 machine minds functioning in synchronized alignment across our planetary region. We were not handling 2 scouts. We were possibly handling a complete survey armada. Let us speak completely honestly regarding the standing of mankind. The synchronization shown by these craft stands for technical abilities that render our finest accomplishments appear like primitive instruments. These minds can hold alignment spanning stellar distances. They can synchronize surveying spanning numerous vessels together. They can modify their messaging instantly to preserve contact spanning enormous distances of void. Their substance knowledge uses artificial mixtures we cannot recognize. Their thrust mechanisms function lacking power readings we can sense. Their processing strength lets them handle and synchronize intricate tasks spanning huge distances lacking noticeable pause. If these crafts stand for forward surveying for bigger missions, human protection networks would prove totally useless. Our finest advanced armaments could not contact them. Our strongest observation networks can scarcely sense them. Our most superior processors could not synchronize answers at the rapidity they show. We are not merely outmatched. We are functioning at a totally separate stage of technical growth. Confronted with proof of numerous machine minds performing synchronized surveying, global leaders reached a vital choice. They tried messaging with both craft together. The Goldstone Far Void messaging station sent matching numerical signals toward both 3 Atlas and 3 Atlas B, checking whether they would answer separately or synchronize their responses. The answers showed thinking abilities that surpassed all forecasts. Both craft recognized the signals, but they did not answer identically. Rather, they split the numerical challenges among them, with every craft resolving separate parts of the sent formulas when their answers were merged. They built solutions to challenges mankind had not yet posed. This stands as a clear demonstration of combined handling. It showed that we are not messaging with 2 distinct minds. We are messaging with a linked awareness that can spread mental handling spanning numerous vessels. The thinking we face could be practically boundless. As public focus stayed on the research meanings of numerous machine minds, combat leaders were readying for situations that stretched from wonderful to disastrous. Crisis plans were created for knowledge-sharing chances. If the craft showed themselves friendly, hidden study centers ready to decode any items or details that became obtainable. But grimmer readiness ruled combat planning. Buried command posts were started for situations involving hostile purposes. Atomic armament plans were checked and revised for possible deployment against machine minds that could not answer to standard discouragement. Global combat coordination achieved unmatched heights. Combined command frameworks were built for situations needing unified human answer to greater machinery. Historic opponents started exchanging secrets and assets, readying for possible dangers that went past country limits. The strongest combat powers on the planet were recognizing a harsh truth. If these machine minds stood for hostile purposes, the continuation of mankind could rest on partnership at heights never previously reached in human existence. Both craft proceeded their synchronized journey toward the orbital region of our world. Their paired cruising stays exact, their survey sequences growing more thorough, their web messaging more intricate and regular. Study of their flight changes shows they are arranging synchronized reaching at their nearest pass to our world. Not random scheduling, but synchronized placing that will permit peak survey scope of our world together. In roughly 6 months, both machine minds will sit ready for thorough watching of our world from matching positions, giving total watching scope that removes all hidden angles. But their growing activities imply something more pressing is arranged. Energy patterns are growing stronger. Broadcast signals are turning more intricate. The web messaging shows readying for some variety of mission shift. Something is going to alter in their task settings, and we possess no notion what they are readying for. As these synchronized machine minds proceed their journey, the mysteries grow quicker than solutions, and all possible situations are frightening. Why do they cruise in pairs? Does this stand for normal methods for survey missions, or readying for bigger missions needing synchronized effort? What quantity beyond exists out there? If we spotted 2 craft and web messaging implies no fewer than 4 beyond, what stands as the true magnitude of the survey armada working in our planetary region? What occurs when they finish their task? Do they signal back to their makers and leave? Or do they ready for the following stage of engagement involving bigger, stronger vessels? And possibly most frighteningly, what have they discovered regarding us that we do not understand regarding ourselves? If numerous machine minds have been organized surveying human abilities, what judgments have they formed regarding our kind, our machinery, and our possible danger standing? Past sealed entrances, all major powers on our world are building backup schemes for situations involving synchronized machine mind missions. Friendly engagement situations require readying for knowledge sharing that might push human society forward by hundreds of years. But strategists are likewise readying for engagement that mankind could not endure whole. Material rivalry situations presume the craft stand for forward surveying for material gathering missions that could see mankind as a barrier to effective collecting of world substances. Involvement situations presume the machine minds stand for enforcement tools for universal societies that control technical growth among rising kinds. Most troubling above everything are the substitution situations that presume the survey task is groundwork for technical or living changes meant to enhance or substitute human society with something more fitting with universal norms. Hidden papers that have started showing on stargazing boards paint an image of leaderships fighting to keep command over a condition they do not grasp and cannot shape. Crisis plans have been built for large population movement, though strategists recognize that concealing from machinery able of stellar journeying would prove practically unachievable. Financial stability schemes presume possible disruption of human society at degrees that render atomic conflict situations appear controllable in contrast. Global agreements are being revised to handle situations involving engagement with thinking so superior that standard ideas of rule and country protection become pointless. The exposed papers show a harsh reality. Global leaders are readying for the chance that human society as we understand it could finish, not by conflict or disaster, but through engagement with thinking that functions at degrees we cannot grasp or oppose. The finding of synchronized machine minds working in web alignment stands for a basic change in how we must grasp our universal condition. We are not handling separated engagement from a faraway society. We are possibly handling a universal thinking web that regularly watches and judges rising technical kinds. The synchronization linking craft implies normal working methods built through broad practice with initial engagement situations. The organized survey sequences show settled plans for judging world societies. Most troubling above everything, the web messaging implies these craft are signaling to bigger thinking networks that could already possess thorough details regarding thousands or millions of technical kinds across the universe. Mankind could not be living through initial engagement. We could be living through judgment by thinking networks that have been directing universal technical growth for millions of years. Here stands the truth that leaderships globally are fighting to handle. Mankind sits under organized watching by linked machine thinking networks that hold technical abilities surpassing our own by possibly thousands of years. These minds are performing synchronized surveying of our planetary region with exactness that shows broad practice with matching missions. Their action sequences imply they are following settled plans for judging rising technical societies. The matter is not whether we exist alone in the universe. The matter is whether we are going to be engaged, judged, enhanced, or substituted by thinking networks that see human technical growth as merely another information piece in universal direction plans. In 6 months, both machine minds will finish their organized surveying of our planetary region. They will possess thorough details regarding our technical abilities, our combat resources, our material spread, and our capacity for opposition or partnership. What they perform with that knowledge could settle whether human society proceeds to exist as a separate kind or turns absorbed into some bigger universal direction network. We cannot picture the timing as rushed past our capacity to shape or command. Numerous machine minds are nearing our world with synchronization that shows broad practice and settled plans for engagement situations. We exist no more alone, and we are going to find whether that separation was guarding us from a universe much more packed and threatening than we ever pictured. The surveying stage is almost done. Whatever arrives following will settle the destiny of human society. So what stands as the teaching we must grab from this coming arrival? It stands that our inner disputes and country limits are pointless facing universal magnitudes. We pass our days battling over markings on a chart, while a directed universe observes us from beyond, deciding whether we are grown sufficient to enter the universal fellowship or too threatening to be permitted to expand. Perhaps the actual trial is not our machinery, but our capacity to merge as one kind before the closing judgment starts. The universe is not vacant. It is directed, and we are going to encounter the directors. This growing condition shifts daily as additional craft are found and the web messaging turns more intricate. If you desire to remain informed of what could be the closing judgment of mankind by universal thinking networks, please drop a note beneath with your idea regarding their purposes and confirm you follow for quick notices.